All right.
Like, you may think that, it's just a game, you're just talking with them, blah, blah, blah. By the end of the day, these are real people that are on here, and, they kind of like you in that way, enough to, like, devote their time.
I'm like, okay, you're fucking mental. Okay, you know what? Don't, stop this bullshit. Don't call me your boyfriend, because I'm not your boyfriend. I don't care what you think.
She drunk texted me. Like, I miss you. I want to still be with you.
Any foundation on a relationship is built upon trust, right? Mm-hmm. Psycho, will you stop fucking giggling over there?
You have now joined the A Couple Podcast Show. Let me introduce our hosts, Laura and Xavier.
All right, I hope you liked the opening there. It took me forever to figure that out.
So for our first story, we will be hearing from FTW_gaming. This was recorded on VR chat, and this is his story. So go check him out, and you can hear more about it. Otherwise, here it is. Here is
the story.
Yeah, no. At first, it was me and Mute dating on VR chat and everything. Like it was just that, and it was just me and her. That's it. Like just stream thing, not a stream thing, like a VR chat thing. But then we got to know each other, and we both started catching feelings and all that good shenanigans, and just got to the point where it got kind of hot and heavy, and we did some things only like couples should do. But on the phone. So after that, we continued talking and everything, and then freaking one night we were talking, and she told me she's in a relationship, and I was like, what? Like my literal words were, what? And she told me, yeah, I'm in a 5-year relationship right now, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me this beforehand? Before we did any of that stuff. Before we did anything about, what couples only should be doing. And I'm like, why? Like, this is always my luck. This is my luck with women. Like, it always, whenever it starts off good, and it looks like it's going to go good, something bad's always going to happen. But I was like, oh my God. So I started getting a little bit distance from her. She kept messaging me like I was still her boyfriend or some shit like that. Like, oh, I still miss you. I miss you. I miss being with you. I miss your presence and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm going to give you an option. I'm going to give her two options. I gave her two options. I told her, either you can leave him and be with me, or you can just forget about me. Keep it clean, keep it simple. How it is, how I wanted it to be.
Right.
And she's like, I can't leave him. He loves me. I'm like, but you like me more. Like you like me more because you're literally like talking to me like I'm like with you and everything. And like you're acting like she acting like I'm like the best thing that happened to her ever since. And she told me that she can be herself around me and all that good stuff. Like, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So like I like completely stopped talking to her. She kept messaging me until it got to the point where I was like, all right, should I block this girl or should I just let her be? And like this going through my head, and then I was mad. I was mad. It was like during work, like whenever I was thinking this, and I'm like busy. It was a busy day. People were pissing me off. These thoughts were going through my head, and I'm like, oh no, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And I got mad and then I looked at my phone. She drunk texted me like, I miss you. I want to still be with you. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I might as well just become a homewrecker. So me and her got to talking again. We became all lovey-dovey and all that good stuff. Like I thought everything was going good again. Like, you know, like me and her were actually gonna be together. I thought she was gonna leave her boyfriend and all that good stuff. And that was the past week. 2 days ago. One night. I was like coughing up fit. I was feeling sick. She was sick as well. So we were just chatting on Discord and all that good stuff. Like, oh yeah, no, and everything. And so, thing was, I was kind of horny that night. I was sick and I was turned on for some reason, and she knew too, because she knows how I get. And like, so we started exchanging some things, I guess you could say. Like before, like actual, you know, yeah, like actual, like, you know, bad type of pictures starting to show up, you know what I'm saying? She told me, it's like, you know, I'm still with my boyfriend, and I'm like, yeah, and I texted her, I'm like, yeah, I don't mind being a homewrecker. And that's when she texted me, I'm getting married. Ouch. I'm like shocked. I'm shocked with this news. I'm like, you're getting married? And I didn't know how to react. I like literally, I thought everything was getting good again. I thought everything was getting better. And like, no, it just got worse. It just literally got worse. And so I was like, I told her, you know what? I'm just done. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. I straight up, like, just feeling defeated and helpless. I was just like, I'm done.
And that was FTW
DEE
FTEW underscore gaming.
Yep. That was his story. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a perfect example of how games like VR chat and a lot of other games that where you're playing with real people, you know, it's, you know,
you're with someone.
They're real people.
Yeah.
These are real emotions. You know, you're getting to know somebody on there, kind of like if you're on a social media account or anything like that. You're getting to know this person.
Yeah, same thing.
But then, you know, when you find out that there is these big, you know, info that was left out, it'd be like, you know, dating somebody and then finding out that, like, you know,
the same scenario happens in real life. Like, you know, you think you know someone
the age that they said they were or something.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean,
you think you know the person, and all of a sudden, like, something pulls out.
I mean, things like this can happen in real life too. You know, I mean, you can meet a person face to face, and this could still happen to you.
It has happened.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how many times do you hear about how they like took off their ring and slipped it into their pocket or something before walking into a bar and you know, meeting up with somebody? I mean, you don't know, you know, and it's why you should. I don't know. I don't even know how you can really.
I mean, think about it. In the virtual space, it's even worse because you're under pretty.
Well, yeah, you're not even seeing this person's facial expressions. You're not seeing their body language. There's absolutely nothing except their voice that you can.
Or something. Of course, I'm gonna.
Whoops.
There's nothing you can use to really, you know, tell what they're feeling or thinking or anything, you know, other than what they're saying. You're
basing all of it on trust.
Yeah.
And it's you know, it's a different ball game completely.
Well, yeah, you know, and there aren't really any, like, I mean, in this, you know, in society, in the real world or whatever, there are certain things that are expected, you know, and so we don't really have those precedents set in the VR world yet.
And they're not obviously common. There's no common knowledge. I mean, there's a little bit of common sense.
Yeah, I mean,
you would think.
There's always going to be people that are breaking it, and it's okay to go in there and play it like a game, like do the fake relationships or whatever. But you
establish that this is fake.
Yeah, this is a game. I'm playing a game. I'm not real life in it right now, kind of thing. You know, I mean, you have to know when you're role playing versus when this is for real.
Yeah, and there was some outside aspects to his story too. I mean, when he mentioned like he was having fun and stuff like that, you know, that was sometimes they were like, you know, on the phone and sending pictures and stuff like that. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna go sending pictures like that, definitely kind of no, that's
you
not
hit
okay.
the outside realm. If you've gone out the game into another game and to start, you start getting that intimacy level.
Well, I remember when we played World of Warcraft, and we were married at the time or dating, either or. We did it both.
We did both, yeah.
But if I ever felt like this person was getting maybe a little bit too not handsy, but I don't know, for lack of a better word,
too flirtation-y.
Yeah, then I'd be like, yeah, so I'm married, or dating someone serious or whatever kind of thing, And so I feel like on my side of it, you have to put that out there if you really feel like this is crossing a certain threshold. And she never did that, and so technically, I mean, if I ever found out you did something like that, yeah, I would consider that cheating.
I heard the same from you. In fact, that would just be an awkward situation. Like, what are you doing with the holding the phone, being completely naked and taking a picture of yourself? This is kind of an odd thing to do.
Not something I do ever. So
I'm just trying to throw an image to this.
I don't take selfies with clothes on.
Wait, what? You don't take selfies with clothes on?
I don't take them at all. I don't know.
All right, moving on. Okay, our next story comes from Seiko, and I was you're gonna hear a little bit of me kind of talking about it, but he has a different tale, and I kind of like it. It's on the lighter side. It's not too sad and depressing, but it's something that many of us, many people out there can definitely relate to, and without holding anything back, this is Seiko. Okay, Seiko, I'm just getting the feel that you may have this bad boy inside of you. So, and I'm hoping that I'm right. You may have a good story on this. Have you ever, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, broken a heart before in the virtual
multiple
space?
Times.
Oh, I knew it. Fucking knew
it. Yes, multiple times. That's kind of. I'm not a jerk, but sometimes when stuff like when they take it too far or something, of course I'm gonna break it off, and it's gonna be like, sorry, but that's
you
kind of getting
definitely
a bit too weird. I don't know.
Things get close, right?
I guess when they start taking it too seriously, like too seriously. Like there was this one time, this like I just started playing the game, right? And this random ass girl, I didn't even know her. She started like instantly say like, "Oh, that's my BR boyfriend," and I'm like, "What the fuck? I don't even know you." And she kept on, and I'm like, "Okay, whatever," I just went along with it. I'm like, maybe she's role playing, maybe she's just having fun, right?
Yeah, it comes up as a
compliment. And then the next day she kept on doing it. Yeah. And then she did it again and again and again. And then I'm like, oh wait, this girl really thinks we're dating. I'm like, wow, this girl actually thinks we're going out.
Take a hand. Okay.
I'm like, okay, what do I do? I'm like,
I'm not used to them being committed.
Okay. What is this feeling? What's this love you have for me?
No,
this is strange.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like her. I thought she was playing, I didn't have no feelings for her. So I'm like, well, okay, maybe I'm overthinking it. So I invited her to my group chats with my friends and everything, but she was so annoying.
I'm thinking that there's something in particular that this person did that was annoying.
Yeah.
Would that be correct?
What made her annoying? Like, what made her annoying to you?
Like, let's say that me and Lucky were having a conversation about like how I want to do a certain thing on my avatar. She would come into the conversation, not even her business, and she would start like scolding me for something that she doesn't even know what we're talking about. Like I would be like, oh, I want to do like a custom jacket. Why don't you just make it from scratch? Oh no, because I can find one in DeviantArt. But if you make it from scratch, this. I'm like, no, I think I like this though. No, but that's stupid. You should do it this way. I'm like, I know what I want, okay? Shut the fuck up. But that's dumb, though. Why can you not understand? Oh my fucking shit. Why can you not understand, So
okay, this sounds like bad for another reason. You're actually saving yourself a little bit here. Still
So
very interesting.
that day that kind of like I snap and I'm like, okay, stop, is when I like to draw, and she likes to draw too. And I sent her some of my drawings, and she made a world, and put it in her world, my drawing. And I was pretty happy, and I'm like, oh, that's nice of her. And then I was gonna show. She had a whole bunch of friends in that world, and she made like this what's it called? Raichu, yeah, Raichu. This Raichu drawing that if you click it, it will take you to my drawing. And I was gonna show this one guy my drawing. And I told him, oh, here, follow me. You want to see my drawing? Click on Pichu, and it will teleport us up here. And he's like, okay. We went up there, and, I was about to show him my drawing. And then she came with us, and she scolded me so fucking badly. I'm like, she's like, why are you making fun of my art? I'm like, what? What do you mean? You just made fun of my art. I'm like, what are you talking about? I haven't even said anything about your art. Yeah, you call it Pichu when it's actually Raichu. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't making fun of your art, though. I was just, I just don't know the name of the Pokemon. No, but that's so stupid. He's obviously Raichu. I'm like, okay, but I don't know,
But yeah.
And she just kept like, yeah, and I'm like, my bad, I just don't know the name. No, in front of me, like, I'm like, okay, you're fucking mental. Okay, you know what? Don't stop this bullshit. Don't call me your boyfriend, because I'm not your boyfriend. I don't care what you think. Like, we're not going out. And she was like, oh, you're so, I don't know, it was so stupid.
Okay, let me just paint a picture here. Okay, so what this sounds like is this lady, you may have had like the start of an avatar, the picture of what she had in mind of what a boyfriend should be and act like, and I have definitely been there before. And this person, if you didn't fit any of the molds or anything that her pre-idea what a boyfriend relationship, a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship was, she would scold you for it. You were showing imperfections, so she tried to correct that, and that's where a lot of the annoyance, the weirdness came from. So you didn't start the relationship. She was like, she saw you and like, this guy looks like a good boyfriend for me. He'll be boyfriend for me. All right, boyfriend's trying to get jacket. I don't like that jacket. He needs to get this jacket. My boyfriend will have this jacket. Wait, my boyfriend doesn't.
She had a mindset for somebody, and she wanted you to fit that whole criteria. She wanted you to be that boyfriend. She wanted you to fit all the categories that she had set for herself.
She basically
fit them all.
She basically thought he was a Kindle.
Yes, that's a perfect analogy. Over explanation of it. Yes, you were Kindle to her.
Yeah, but I'm like, holy shit! Like, I'm not going. Like, we're not even going now. Like,
she wanted an iPad, and her parents got her a Kindle Fire.
For some reason, I'm putting an accent to this girl, and I don't even know because you have an accent. So I'm just picturing, you get me an iPad, you get me a Kindle Fire. This is not what I wanted. This is in this.
She's actually Asian.
That my second nature.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna go run and scream into the mountains now.
But I guess that's that time
this tree.
I broke somebody's heart, because to them, I was apparently what they wanted, but hell no, fuck that shit. Yeah, but afterwards, it wasn't like, like afterwards she apologized, and I'm not a jerk, so okay, I'm like,
she's done this before. That's the reason for the apology. She knows she has this nick.
Yeah, she knows. She actually, I don't know if she knows. No, she doesn't know. She fucking doesn't know.
All right, and we're back. That was Seiko. And some of the other voices you heard talking there. Sporific Sugar, Lucky Fox O, Doomy Woomy, and Sim.
Doomy Woomy?
Doomy Woomy, yes.
I love that name.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I think you did play a game with him. We were doing the Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, I don't know. Either way, so yeah, I mean, to me, that like story, I guess, it sounds like the perfect example of someone who should play with Barbie dolls instead of people.
Well, I think like there's this wall in the game. I think it's kind of one of the points I was trying to get off on our original recording is that there's going to be some people you interact with that are going to treat this in a different version of a game. They're going to treat it like a game. So even with real people, these avatars to them are just like NPCs, non-player characters.
Yeah, but you can't treat other people like that.
Yeah.
I mean, just because you like playing a certain way, you got to be able to find somebody and be like, hey, dude, you want to play with me? You know, I mean, It would be like, oh, and this might seem really way off.
Go for it.
If you like a dom who's into BDSM.
Oh my God.
Going up to some person, it's just a random person, and being like, hey, I'm going to dominate you today. Spank. I mean, you can't do that, you know?
Well, you can't do that to everybody. Who knows? You may surprise someone.
Well, but
like, oh yeah, this is a good Monday.
I mean, come on. If you did that to just some random person in today's society, you would have cameras everywhere and people's phones coming out and being like, and then that person would probably like sue you for, you know, sexual harassment or something. Who knows? But I mean, that's why you have to find a safe environment, a safe place, a safe partner. I mean, that's what those kind of communities are all about. And that's what VR chat needs to kind of create. And they don't have that right now. It's not a safe environment.
It is a bit of a free for all. You know what? And just to throw this, since we're bouncing back with forfeiting topics, other games can kind of emulate what they have here. Like they are very unique by just having their microphone open, having a microphone open system. But
plus they have the full, you know, where people who can wave their arms around and stuff. It's not just a mouse that you're moving all the time.
Correct, but I don't think that portion is as important. Let's say like back in the day there was Sims.
Yes.
If you could just, you know, pick one of your characters you created and have them talk to random people publicly, there's your social aspect. World of Warcraft, it's an entirely different game, but you have a character, you just leave the microphone open and
yeah, you were playing as a different character. But I think the thing is, the difference there is World of Warcraft, when you built a character, they gave you a backstory to that character.
Well, yeah. And there's a lore, there's a world around it. You're not creating your own. Where
the VR chat is very much about creating your own character, your own world. So it's more you than something that you might create on World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
You know, and so that then you put yourself, a little bit of yourself or more, a lot of yourself into this character, and then you have these people coming up and like they totally change the rules to the game you're playing, and it's like whoa, because I mean VR chat it doesn't have rules, and that's great, but at the same time you have to,
it leaves room for chaos.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like as a person you have to be like, okay, there's a person on the other end. And honestly, I see this kind of stuff happen all the time on social media, you know, where they just kind of forget that there's a person on the other end of that.
Old-timey internet has been that way. I mean,
yeah, I know.
If for those who are veterans of the internet age, the comment section in YouTube was a cesspool. It still is a cesspool, but you have no idea how much they've cleaned it up. But yeah, it would just, you know, an area you would go and it'd be a black hole. It doesn't matter how good your video was, how much effort. If you use animation 3D, you just go to there, and whoever was the loudest, craziest person would get the most attention. Yeah. And in a way, a lot of, you know, there's still a
lot of that. We call them trolls. Internet trolls.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and get into the next.
Whose story is next?
This is Sporific Sugars, and I had to go to Google and put in sporific so I can make sure that I'm pronouncing sporific correctly. But she gets in her story about you know, her you know what? Why am I adding details in this? She already has her own. I'll go ahead and let her tell. This is Sporific Sugar.
Being a good brawl.
All right, back to the story.
Anyways, dated the dude. We met when I was in high school, and he had already like got out of high school, and like it was every day we would talk, text, never do video calls because he always kept complaining that his computer was just so blah, and his shit kept getting wrecked because this was like family biz, and it was like, ugh. Thinking back at it, it was ugh. But I worried about him a lot, and you know, all that mess. The breaking point now, okay, there was already several cracks in the relationship because my parents got involved, obviously, because I could just, you know, keep that a secret forever. So my mom decided to talk with him. He told her his career aspirations, and she was just like, no. With those aspirations, you will not date my daughter. But and like I kept thinking about it because every time I would talk about it with my mom afterwards, and she would say some like pretty true stuff, and I would talk with him about it, and eventually like 3 different times I felt like not only was what my mom said was true, but the fact that he would always like leave me in the dark every fucking time whenever he was having something going on. And I kept telling him, tell me. He never did. So eventually, like by the time I was already in college, I think about my third semester, I broke it off with him because I just couldn't handle it. Yeah, no, we were in a long relationship with each other. And somewhere during my third semester in college, I was just kind of finally like, look, it seems like you're just like doing your own thing. You just moved out of your family's house and blah, 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 blah. And like, you're leaving me in the dark. Like, I'm kind of getting tired of this. So I just told him that's enough. And all he told me was, all right. And I was like, that's okay. Yeah.
No closure.
Yeah, no. Wow. But I let it go because I was like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. He's doing his own thing now. I'm going to do my own thing. He doesn't message me for 2 weeks. And after I finally figured out, after 2 weeks, he decides to message me again. What does he tell me? His roommate that he had just moved in with, who has admired him long before I was even in the picture, dated him the day that we broke up. Yeah, and because there was no real closure before, it felt like someone had like just thrown everything that we worked on into the fire. And like, it was just so heartbreaking. Like, I cried for 4.5 hours over this because I'd given so much time to this guy. And I told him like so many personal things that I was just like, okay, that's enough. I was so sad and mad at the same time. I even painted, which I hadn't done since I started college. I had decided to paint, and it was just a whirlwind of just depression, caution, and just wariness. It was bad, and I was sad for a long time.
Murder
affected me pretty heavily.
Okay, so one thing I've always been curious about is when you're in that type of relationship. Of course, there's distance in there, but what keeps you loyal to this person while there's a distance? Now, granted, we know that there's some disloyalty, but what keeps someone?
That just all depends on the person. Like, it's really hard to explain. Like, you can't just automatically be loyal. Like, you're going to see the shit around you where like, oh, everyone's hugging, kissing, you're gonna want that shit and blah blah blah. But in some way, you have to kind of keep your morals in check and just be like, you know what, I want to be with him. If you choose to do that weird polyamorous shit. That was actually a point in the relationship I was with this dude. He was just like, you can go and be with anyone else. And I just sat there and I was like, no, because I love you. Yeah. And I was just like, know that I love you. I don't want to be with anyone else.
So that was Sporific Sugar's story. And so, yeah, there was a lot of info in that one and a lot of emotions, obviously. But really, when it comes down to it, if you're in a relationship, whether a long distance relationship, whether relationship, but you have set the terms that, hey, we are in a relationship, which it sounds like they had those terms, then yeah, anything outside of that relationship is not going to fly.
Here's something that I don't think that was, I may have edited out as I was trying to clean up a lot of the audio. It was a very hectic environment, and some of it was my own fault when trying to record these interview sessions. One thing she said was that this was a couple of years. This wasn't something that was like, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, a couple of years relationship to continue on. And they had like other outside things like her parents, and
Yes.
and the guy's
Listen
life.
to your parents.
Well, yes, too, but also the guy's life too, how he had a rough life. And what I kind of find interesting, and you may have a different idea, different view than I do, but just there was a lot to keep them going for over 2 years. There's a lot of friction, and they were still lasting for as long as they did. And that part, even though they didn't, ultimately stay together, still is something to note.
I don't, okay, my first relationship that I was ever in, I was in it for 4 years. And
that's a long time.
I started it when I was 14 and ended it when I was 18. And so, it was a long time, a very long relationship. And in the end, I realized that it was not the kind of relationship I wanted for my future. And, and so it doesn't matter how long you've been in a relationship with somebody. If at some point you realize like, hey, the person I am around this person or the person that they are when they're around me, that's not the kind of person I want to be around.
Yeah. And is this person going to grow into, help you grow into what you want to be? Or be a kind of a hindrance to that.
What is it you always say that people don't change?
They grow, yeah.
Yeah, and we've argued our way around that one so many times before.
Growth is a form of change.
Yeah, either way, the point of the matter is that you cannot change a person. You cannot fix a person. You cannot, I'm going to help them through all their horrible, stuff or whatever. Don't go after a bad boy thinking you're going to make them good.
Please don't.
All of these things, you're not going to change that person.
And
they are the only one
in the process.
They are the only one who can change themselves. And if they're not willing to do that, then, if that's not what you want, then you need to leave it. And, you put a lot of time and energy into it. But if you're not happy, then you're not happy. There are times where it's like, you should try to work things out or whatever. But that one sounded like it ended up being
exactly a mute point before. It wasn't much solving what was happening, and it's just
when you're so young too. Like
it's an evolution of a relationship.
You still have your whole life ahead of you.
Exactly, but they want to know that it does. It's been for it to be a long time relationship, only being aligned, not seeing this person, not holding their hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Long distance relationships are hard in and of themselves, even when you see that person periodically. Even like, you go a week without seeing a person. You only see them on the weekends or whatever. That's rough. That's
like a month in a relationship time. Just not having anybody there.
We did that for a little bit where we were moving cities, and I was, I stayed in the city, that we were living in to finish up my job, before it ended, and to get things packed and get our daughter ready to go and yada, yada. And then you went to your new job. And you would come back for the weekends. But we did that for a couple of weeks at least. And as a married couple who'd been together for a while, that was rough.
Yeah.
Let alone, you're single or, boyfriend, girlfriend, but there's still that, well, I'm not married to this person kind of thing. And that changes a person's view sometimes.
Also with having like someone around for, that's been around you for a while too. And when they're gone, you feel like you do lose a piece of yourself. Like I would normally go down to this room and talk to him when I saw this thing, or there's this quirky, for me especially, there's this quirky video I saw. I gotta share it, but she's not here. And you get a lot of those moments.
Well, I know. Like anytime that you or I are, away from each other for whatever reason, like, before I go to sleep, I have to talk to you on the phone. Otherwise, like I can't fall to sleep, and it's so yeah, you get used to having a person around, and you get used to certain,
a routine.
Yeah, routine. That was a good word for it. Thank you. But either way, I feel like every relationship you're in, whether it's a short one, a long one, forever one, a non-forever one, temporary, whatever, we learn from these things, or, you should learn from them, and it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to cry, to be upset, to be hurt. That's a part of life, a part of living, but you move on and hopefully she'll find someone who is great for her.
Yeah. I mean, time is definitely on your side. And talking about time, I got another young fellow by the name of Lucky Fox O or Zero. I have not asked the question to define that, but he has a very interesting story, and it's one that I think it may have a cautionary tale for others in the future. This is Lucky Fox O. Just jump into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh boy.
Lucky.
Starting off with you.
I'm starting off with say my best and worst relationship. I usually date this girl who's Canadian. She's fucked up sometimes because at the time I was dating her, she was going through some crisis of her life and going through existence problems, let's say that. And every time she'll always bring this up that you like this person better, no, you like this person better. Like, I chose you. And then she one time just after this kept on for a solid, and then after 3 months, I haven't heard from her. Then she said someone comes back and says, "I'm sorry, but I did this to myself." She just shows me, I'm not gonna give names. She just shows me cuts on her arm, 10 or 3 cuts on her arm, suicidal cuts. Holy shit! I thought I killed this person.
Wow.
Yeah, you know this. I told you this about this before. In this game, I thought
it got super, super serious.
Yeah, and this gave me I thought holy shit. There could be this kinds of girls that I'm gonna date with in the future, possibly, and then possibly accidentally kill them if I broke up with them. Because either that's suicidal or not. You can never know. Yikes. And she was younger than me. She was either 15 or 16. And I was 17 by the time, but I was 17. That means I was legal. Yeah, and then afterwards, we were just now best friends. She got over that phase, and now we're good. That's all. Go do me.
All right. Xavier, which one should I tell?
Well, and that was Lucky's story. I think you said that the rest of these weren't downers.
Did I say that?
You did. You did earlier.
Okay. Well, sorry for that. Okay, there's only one more left after this. But what do you think about listening to that with Lucky? I kind of gave you some extra detail that wasn't put out there during the recording, though.
Okay. Well, then, would it be silly of me to?
Well, let me put the details out. So basically, this wasn't in VR chat. This was another relationship Lucky had with this lady that was from Canada, and apparently she may have had some mental issues, or that was just her. But ended up sending pictures that she cut her wrist because there was a lot of jealousy or thinking that he was not being faithful. But if you think about it, he was going to school at the same time. He's young. Of course, he's going to play other games. So he's not always available, you can see this person every day. Mm-hmm. So part of her reaction was, I'm feeling bad, whatever, is, hurting herself. And
that's called manipulation, and it's not okay. Whether there's the mental issues or not, or just, she's depressed or, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not his job to fix her. And correct. I've actually had a personal experience with this. I talked earlier about my first relationship, which I was in for 4 years. And it was near the end of it, it was like an off and on kind of thing. But I stayed in contact with him even past that. And so I went into the military when I turned 18, and we kind of stayed in contact and, off and on. And at one point, he was just very depressed and wanted me back. And, he apparently had bought a ring, and I told him you needed to return that. We were talking, but very very rarely.
And this is not like a regular ring. This is the
yeah, like he was going to ask me to marry him when I saw him next. And it's like, no, I left. I broke up with you. I definitely ended it. It was very clear. This was ended. And I felt bad. And that's, why I had stayed in contact. And I thought, I knew this guy for 4 years. And I didn't feel like, okay, maybe we could try to be friends. And anyhow, so he ended up calling me back and he had told me he had taken a bunch of pills. I didn't know what kind of pills. And I, was freaking out, and he's like, yeah, he wanted to die and things like that. And I'm like, you need to call, are your parents home? You need to call your the ambulance or something.
This is a bag of burden that just literally gets dumped.
I was in AIT at the time, which if anybody doesn't know military terms, it was right after basic. I'm still going through certain training. Mm-hmm. I'm in a completely different state. We're just talking on the phone periodically, not even regularly, because I don't have a lot of phone use still at this point.
And this is when phones didn't have glass.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a cell phone, but it was a dumb phone, and so, yeah, I mean, I could kind of take pictures, but they were very pixelated kind of pictures. And, but yeah, so it's like, I got off the phone, cried, like, because I didn't know, like, should I call the police? What police do I call? Do I call the police for the where I live or where he lives, or what's going on? And I mean, at the end of the day, I just left it. It's not my job. It's not my job. I mean, there's
self-realization moment. That's like, no, this is on you.
Yeah. Eventually he had called me back and let me know that, he was okay. And, and that he was very sorry. And at some point I just started, I blocked him completely. I was done, and that was it. It was the end of the story. And there we go. So the thing is, it's a hard lesson to learn. I was 18, so I was young, very young. I felt horrible, but I had just made up my mind that, it wasn't my job to fix him. It wasn't my job to fix my relationship with him. I never let him on. I never said we were going to get back together. Nothing. Yeah. You can't fix a person. You just have to be kind, try to do the best you can, be like, hey, I'm here to talk, but as far as our relationship, that's it. I'm young. I can't deal with this. End of story.
Yeah, there was
because that's what therapists are for.
yeah. Go get some help.
Yeah, and Michael that's Jordan what you can do. If somebody does that, refer them to the suicide hotline. That is the best thing that you can do. Yeah. I didn't know it when I was younger, but I now know those kind of things. You do that
Google
for
it.
sure.
Google it. Give them the number.
That's about the best you can do at that point. Because
and you can't force them to take action from there.
No, yeah, it's not your job to fix them.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a story or anything like that that I can relate to. Here's what I can say.
We don't have to have a story similar.
Correct.
Empathy is.
Yes, I do empathize with the story, but this to give me to give a reason why I don't. When I was going through high school, I was it was a different atmosphere, different. Here's how it was. I was around the military, all my life, so people coming in and out was very common. A long relationship doesn't seem like it was ideal because your parents are going to stay there and then they're going to, move to another base and another base. So it felt like, while there, like, yeah, you're just, you have a girlfriend for a little bit and then that goes away. You didn't plan for a long term. It was just always short term. So it just seemed to be more of a, you wouldn't get that far.
You were a loosey goosey kind of.
You know what? Mm-hmm. Maybe I was.
It's okay. When you're young, even if you're older or whatever, if you are single, it's okay.
Yes.
As long as you let that other person know that, hey.
Well, that and be okay that they're also, it may not be loosey goosey, but you're like, hey, we're not exclusive. Like, you can keep looking. I can keep looking. We're just here. We're going to enjoy this time. And then we're going to go do something else. You know, that's what that is.
Although if they are doing that, make sure you're in real life, make sure you're safe and practice, safely.
That's use a condom. I mean, I don't need to beat around the bush. Use a goddamn condom. It's one thing that you can be a full on hooker using a condom every day, and you can be that one guy who gets laid maybe twice, and you're in danger more than the hooker is, just because you don't use a condom. Use a freaking condom. So going on to our next story, I want to give a little warning. So I tried to connect with, this is Doomy Woomy story. I tried to connect with him and see if I can get some more information on him. But we didn't get a chance to really link up. I didn't get much audio, but I still want to share what he said. So, we can probably have a short discussion there. I broke it into 2 different parts. But I tried my best to kind of magically meld them together. But without further ado, as I've said over and over again now, last but not least, Doomy Woomy.
I had a buddy by the name of Panda.
Oh, all right.
And I've been friends with him ever since. And one day, I just happened to join him, and he had this person following him everywhere by the name of Olivia. They later, they got together, and I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, I'm so happy for you. And stuff like that. And they've been together ever since. And that was about damn near a year ago. And they've been together ever since, and I've never seen them apart. And one lives in America. He lives like a state next to me, which is Misery. And the other one lives in Korea, South Korea.
Oh, wow.
I was hoping you were saying North Korea.
Anyway,
Back to the story.
Oh yeah, I was also the priest at their wedding, and it was just only 2 people. It was me and this other rando. And then my heart was broken.
Why?
Her friend, she knew longer than me, started playing VR chat with her, and her feelings for her kind of rekindled, or for him kind of rekindled. So I was kind of left behind. And it's, again, love is a very touchy subject. Doesn't mean what it used to be. It's anymore now, everyone, it's love is just a confusing stuff like that. My great grandparents have been together for 60 plus years.
60.
That's a lot of old.
That really is.
And they're in their 80s, dude, and they still love each other. Even though they bitch and bicker about everything, they still love each other. They still sleep in the same bed and everything. And I still see them holding hands, kissing each other, stuff like that. It makes my insides feel warm to see that. It's I wish I had that, I wish I had that type of love, where you can trust that person for that many years, knowing that they'll never hurt or cheat on you in any possible way. But with love, their love changes with the generation. But my grandparents have been together for 40 plus years. My mom and dad were together for 6 years, and I'm not going to get into that fucking topic.
Yeah. I've been married for 12.
Congratulations.
How old are you?
I know.
I want to say 34.
Oh, you were so
Maybe
nice.
37?
Are you in your 20s?
I wish I
He's been
was.
married for 12 years, and he's in his 20s.
32.
Oh.
Wow.
Wait, was I right with 34?
You were wrong with 34.
32.
32. I said 32.
You were also wrong with 32.
45.
32.
And we're back. That was Doomy Woomy.
Doomy Woomy.
Doomy Woomy. You like that name.
I do.
Well, to kind of bring back kind of what he was saying on the first half, where he had 2 people that met in VR chat. They're one's in Korea, one's in the States. Where Missouri, yes. It's nice to kind of see that. I mean, this is in regular, normal, or whatever you can consider life. Those are connections that you can't have. Those are because of distance. You can try using snail mail or messenger, but
It's gonna take a while.
exactly. But strap yourself an Oculus Rift or just use keyboard and mouse, and you get the next best thing in order to connect to someone. I think that was a very sweet story.
Well, yeah, I think it's great being able to connect with people all over the world. The internet has obviously opened that up. And I know he mentioned somewhere in there that that love changes with generations, and I don't necessarily feel like that's true. I think love is always love, but certainly generations.
They've had different trends.
Well, we find love differently.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it used to be only arranged marriages, and you'd hope you find love through that, or and then there was it was a business transaction, or it was you would get married for in order this person has this, and it was kind of the way to keep the family going. It wasn't because you love it, and no, you're taking my son or my daughter, and then we'll have or
this
it was
negotiation.
You knew somebody in your city or your town, a small town, and so you met someone there, or there's a person at your high school and you fell in love there, and lived got married, and there are various. It's changed how we've met people.
Yeah,
not necessarily the love in and of itself. Because it's. Like he was saying, where his great grandparents have been together a long time,
60 years.
Yeah. And there are stories like that out there. My parents have been together for 40 years this year. We've been married for 12, and and there are a wide range of stories out there, various. They're not.
Those are the ones that get they get shouted out and praised as much. You always hear about the drama and how bad things are, but really, I can say I've met plenty of people that's been out there. I'll say, I'll go on my little bragging rights, I've been married for 12 years, and then the old man would turn around, 32 and shut up.
Yeah, the thing is that it's relationships, whether they're family or friends or marriage or boyfriend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Don't get trapped in the negative.
Those are all those are all titles. Those are labels. But love is still love, and and as long as you treat that person with decency and respect, then that's what it's all about. And then the cheatings won't happen, the drama won't really happen. You always have two different personalities. There's always going to be a little bit of a communication issue, but if you communicate with that person, you talk to almost anybody who's been together a long time, and they will tell you communication is key.
Yeah. Very much. Communication and time. Sporific Sugar on end of her tale. She was saying is you can just be with anybody, or this when her and her significant other were it's kind of spouting back and forth. But way she said it was, I chose you. I want to be with you. Don't want to be with anybody else. And I'd like that kind of line. That shows trying to think what's the right word for that? Loyalty, and also just you're content, you're happy with what you have. You don't need something else. You have it. It's there. I have you,
and I have you,
and I don't need anybody else.
No.
All right. Before I get too sappy here, I want to give.
We are the it couple, so
yes, we are. We are the it couple. But I want to put this out there too. One, if you like hearing this material. And I did a lot of work for this. I've learned a lot of new things, and a lot of standards will be set. There was a small clip I made sure to take out where we call it D was from our first story. I was like, this is the worst podcast ever. So there's definitely been some bumps in trying to make this happen, but.
Well, whenever you're trying to get a bunch of different people with all sorts of different equipment and recording it, at the same time, that's just going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah. A bunch of personalities. Everybody's excited. And I can definitely say the editing process is definitely, oh, my goodness.
Well, and whenever you have a bunch of people talking, there's some buffering issues. So you're talking and you think you're fine, but then you realize later on you were actually talking over a person, and it's like, oh, wait, oops.
Oh, yes. I did that so many times on here, too. But as I learn, I want to do this more. I want to do this again. And if you are interested Well, one, please let us know. Just, we're on Facebook, YouTube, we're on Discord. We got to put our Discord link out there, but I will make sure to do that. And you can, we also have a Patreon. If you want to support us channel, that definitely gives a little more power to bring some of this, what you've listened to. A lot of the music here, I've used their licensed songs where I was able to purchase.
Or ones you've created.
And yes, ones created. I do create some of the songs. Just
little jingles.
Exactly. I've this is the first podcast where I actually use other people's materials legally because it's purchased. but it's the first video where I've actually used other material, and I would like to do more of that. So if you would like to support, go to patreon.com, It Couple Podcast. You'll find us there. Anything you want to give will help. Now,
there should be a link in the description. So
yes, there is. And without giving a little bit, there was something else that happened during this podcast, and it was on the brighter moment. And if you remember Rainbow V Rage, she was on our Majin Buu episode where we had a lovely song, just kind of given to us. He sang for us on the podcast. And she had an announcement, and I'm going to share that with you right now.
All right, I have some news to tell you.
Before she's pregnant.
No.
Congratulations.
No, I'm getting married.
Go in. Yo.
That may be for another time. But until next time, take it easy.